Hello, we're back, fortunately, because we want to see more Magic. We're hungry for Magic. We finished a little sooner in the previous round because our backup match had already finished once we were done. It was a pretty long game too, ultimately.
The Pelaka worm did gain some life.
The Pelaka worm, it did not get there though. It's a massive worm, but it did not get there. But earlier in the day I was mentioning that we have some people with some Pro Tour top 8s. And Arnost...
Apart from yourself, of course.
I'm not counting myself. But Arnost Zidek is going to be in the booth, in the feature match area this round. He's 2-0. He has a Pro Tour top 8 back in, I would say, 2006 or 5 from Pro Tour London. It was Kamigawa Limited.
That's been a while.
It's a very long time ago, yeah. So...
your Pro Tour top 8, the one was in 2009, right?
Mine was
your
08. My first one was 8 and second was 2012. Yeah.
All right. We're gonna...
Should work fine. There we have the players already shuffling. Both are from the Czech Republic. I was chatting with some people, and actually Jiri on the left, he was sitting next to, he was standing there. He was like, "Oh no, I have to play against Arnost." You can see even after all these years, he commands a respect from his fellow players. Can you make the screen bigger for us?
Of course, of course.
There we go. Thank you.
Here we go.
We'll see their deck soon enough. It looks like usually on left already a little nervous. I think I saw Watery Grave. Let's see what else he has brought.
I think it's a hostage taker and
Rascal's Contempt. Maybe blue black. Maybe Nickel Balls?
Is it Nickel Balls? Is it Crisis?
Okay.
I think I saw some multicolor cards there.
There may be some Sultai Midrange. Yep. And then on the other hand, we have blue, white, red.
This looks like Jeskai.
Yeah, Jeskai Superfriends. Let's type that in so that we all know what decks everyone plays. Jeskai Superfriend on the left, and so we'll put Sultai Midrange for now. We'll see where it takes us.
We don't have deck lists yet.
They're coming, and almost here.
So.
Okay. All right, I'll take Arnost. You take Jiri.
Jiri.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So.
What else do we? Is it?
I see here Hybrid Crisis, Rascal's Contempt, Golgari. Yeah, this is Sultai.
One Commanded Dread Horde and 2 Thorn Lieutenants, so it's somewhere in between, but mostly like a Sultai Midrange deck with
one Commanded Dread Horde.
Yeah, sure.
2 Tamios. Nisso shakes the world. 3 of those.
Yeah, makes sense. So our descriptions are accurate. I see both players already starting off nicely. Hellfund, Sacred Foundry, and Watery Grave. I'm very partial to Arnost's choice of lands.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, beautiful choice. The original Shock Lens, of course, signed.
Yeah, he's playing like the traditional version from last week, so that means that we have 3 Spell Piercers, we have some Mox Embers in the Jeskai Superfriends list. There's one of the 4 Narset, Parcher of Veils, super important card to start right away. There we see again struggling with our live tool, but we got there in the end. Interplanar Beacon doing work, and Arnost is already digging for some cards.
And as well the original opts.
Yes, I like those as well. They're around the time I started playing, so I'm very partial to those. He's thinking about he has to choose between Opt and a Narset.
He does have another one in hand already though, so yeah.
Yeah, Opt it is. I'm thinking for some further cards later on if he needs it to. His list looks fairly standard. 4 Sarkhan, 2 Karn, nothing out of the ordinary. So
1 Mobilized District, but he's not as involved in colors as David Reitbauer was.
Yeah, list from earlier. Yeah, that's true. All right, so we are
Jade Ranger. Puts Lana Wealth into the graveyard and another Planeswalker on top, Nissa. And looks like it's going to stay there.
Yep, it looks like. I mean, Nissa, you talked about it, how super powerful it is, and it is a really a great card. Now we'll see how it handles against the Super Friends from Arnold, who doesn't have much choice here. Goes for Sarkhan. Sarkhan. I think Sarkhan is going to be like the unhinged, unglued version of Sarkhan. If they ever print it, it's like Shark
N.
Yeah, Shark N, like Shark Man.
So what are his options for turn 4? I see Lightning Strike and Shock as well. Looks like he's going for the removal on the Jade Light Ranger. Just thinking about it, maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
Lightning strike right away.
He was thinking. I think he also had a Clarion in his hand, so he was like deciding like which one he wants to deploy. And I would actually think about playing the Clarion first, but he also doesn't know what he's playing against just yet, so he might want to keep the Clarion for when his opponent plays more creatures.
Exactly. He does have the option to shock another Explorer creature now, even Shadelight Ranger, because of course he can respond to the triggers, and the Opt, which he took earlier with Nausik, is still in hand.
Clarion is also quite a bit better against Nissa. Like once your opponent makes one land, makes another land, you can like
just Wrath his lands.
Yeah, exactly. So
Wrath meets Armageddon.
Yeah, so I think we're going to see the Sarkhan here from Arnost's side. His hand is really full. Not have that much going on. There's a backup Nissa, some shocks, and the Clarion we talked about. So here's the Sarkhan. Gains 1 life from the beacon.
It's probably gonna be the 4/4 right away, right?
Yep.
Although, as we know, Hostage Taker can take care of that.
Right, so there's the dragon. But it's still like just in the abstract, the Sarkhan, even if the creature gets killed, it's still great. Like next turn, Arnost could just start swinging for 8, which is great. But there's a Vrask's Contempt on the dragon itself. Interesting. I mean, he probably
he can go for the Nissa now.
Yeah, exactly. So he can play Nissa, untap land, and attack for 3. And he can choose Sarkhan or Narset, but I think it's going to be the Sarkhan.
Yeah, Nissa has already done her Narset. Sorry, has already done her deeds. So.
Yep. Yeah, and of course the Sarkhan could attack the Nissa as well. Maybe combined with a shock could take her down. So this line of play makes complete sense from Yiri's side on the left, and looks like Arnost is just drawing some cantrips. Doesn't have much going on here.
The shock's not too great either,
and
he has 2 of them. As we can see, 3/3 land, the Hostage Taker in Jesus' hand is 2/3, so he's gonna take 2 spells to finish off 1 creature. Here's another Ponder.
Opt.
Opt, sorry. Ponder would be broken. Opt.
I mean, well, Modern Horizons is gonna bring Ponder back with a 5 mana 3/4 creature.
Yeah, I've seen that one
attached to it, so that's not the greatest.
Also, it's the second Narset, so he's under quite some pressure already. Although he can get rid of the land with the Clarion, of course.
Yeah, the problem for Arnost is that basically his cards are pretty low impact, and we know that Yiri has some good cards that can go over the top. I mean, with Nissa already, if Nissa stays in play, like the mana acceleration provides, it'd be really nice with Hydrate Crazes. Of course, provided he deals with the Narset first. And speaking of Narset, all right.
Keeping up 2 red mana.
It's not the most efficient way of using. Oof, that's pretty bad. Double Spell Pierce and the Clarion. Like he already has Clarion in his hand. He probably doesn't want to reveal it to the opponent. And Spell Pierce is also not great, especially now that Nissa is already in play and provides so much extra mana.
He's not gonna grab a non-creature spell, and he can't counter the Hydrate Crazes with it. So
this is not just gonna give him put him in a very awkward spot, because if Yiri just decides to animate land and swing at Narset with 2 lands, it doesn't really, like, he can double shock 1, but the Narset's still going to die. So it's a really tough spot for Arnost here, especially. He might just have to untapped. I like this, so that he can play the Opt as well. He's actually thinking of playing the Clarion here. Maybe. I doubt he will.
Yeah, it's gonna pass the turn. So, are we gonna see a double attack on the Narset, followed up by Crazes?
I don't. Yeah, I think so. I like that line the most. We'll see. He has lots of options in hand. Like we don't see all the cards. He's flicking very fast. He could be Kibler's son,
as most Magic players are, right? Do you do that with the cards as well?
Of course. I mean, it's hard not to, but I don't do it as furiously as Yiri is doing right now.
I find myself doing it when I'm sitting in front of my computer at home, watching streams and stuff.
I put all the cards away from my computer because I knew I would do such a thing. All right, so another Woodland Cemetery is now going to get turn into a 3/3.
Of course,
Both.
choosing the non-forest
Mhm.
lands to become creatures so they don't get roughed
Yep.
away.
This makes sense, right? What's it going to be? Arnost. Okay, it's dead. Nothing. Doesn't pull the trigger or anything just yet. There's an overgrown tube, and now we're going to see a massive crisis. I assume. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 7/7, if I'm counting correctly.
I was going to tip that one as well, yeah.
Yep. So crisis. Ooh, I love this card.
It's huge. This one is huge.
5, 6.
Yeah, need another dice.
8, 9. Yeah, so it should be. Yeah, there's a
Should draw
7,
3, exactly.
This is the exact. That's why Nissa is so good. Like enabling these sorts of plays, it's really nice. Plus, of course, pressuring planeswalk. It ramps you and pressures at the same time. As long as you can protect it well, it's great. And now, lots of trouble here. Double. You might see double Clarion.
Double Clarion and Shock to
Shock.
take out the whole board.
He would need another red mana for that, though. Not sure if he has one in his hand. It's definitely. I'm not sure if it's worth it.
I think it's a Sahili.
Okay. Not great.
Didn't get a great glimpse on it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
It is a Sahili. Okay, he has a Mox Amber. Nah.
Which only produces mana if he plays the Sahili.
Yeah.
It's not working very good with the Clarions.
Nope. It's just this is not a great spot for Arnost.
Cards are not coming together for him.
Yeah, I mean this is what happens sometimes, right? I mean this deck, you have to line up the answers to your opponent sometimes, especially when you play cards like Shock and Lightning Strike. It doesn't always come together as you would like. I mean, at least he gets rid of 2 of the lands on Yiri's side. That's going to at least put a little bit pressure off of him. But
Yeah, of course, Yiri drew 3 cards with the Hydra, so he's not out of gas yet. Of course, gets to keep his Nissa around. So definitely in the driver's seat here.
So there's Clarion. Nothing surprising. Even usually, it seemed like he
Yeah.
knew about it, so he was kind of expecting it. So there's a Sahili, and okay. So now he's gonna play the Mox, and gets a 1/1, and and says go. This is not wasn't a great turn. I mean, he made the board a bit small, but doesn't really get him anywhere soon enough. I'm being a bit more negative than I should, but it's like when your opponent has an unanswered Nissa and a Hydra Crisis, that's
And a
bad
grip
news.
full of cards.
Yeah, especially when there's so much mana now. There's 7. If he plays one more Forest, it's 9. He can do so much with 9 mana.
I think he has another Nissa in hand, though. Still the Hostage Taker, which he drew in his opening hand.
Yeah, he also has Vraska,
Vraska, exactly.
Blueberry Queen. That's a good card as well.
I think those are his only spells, though, which puts him down to 2 because he of course has a Nissa in play already. Hostage Taker not really doing anything here. I mean, removing the 1/1 is not that relevant.
It's going to take 2 more here, and oh no, it's a Woodland Cemetery. He could tap some mana, also untap the forest if he wants to like generate lots of mana here. So just going to see Hostage Taker.
Hostage Taker is taking the token.
It's a bit of a poor man's Hostage
Yeah.
Taker, right? Killing a 1/1 token. It's not exactly where you want to be, but as long as
I mean, if this is the spot where you are, then you're probably in good shape because
yeah, I think so too. Oh yeah, so that is. I think he'll also be able to play the Vraska post board thanks to his forest and the Woodland Cemetery that is attacking.
it would be interesting to see if it does sacrifice a land, for example. Though,
I mean, Arnost now is thinking because he can use the Mox to shock the land, get a 1/1 maybe, and block the land as well. He wants to prevent the damage. But I believe the Hydroid Crisis is attacking Sahili, so that it's going to die no
this
matter
one is
what.
going to die. Which will also turn off the Mox.
Yeah. I mean, what a shame. Let's see. Yeah, tough spot for the veteran. Arnost, I can definitely call him a veteran of the game. He's been around for a very long time. Fell off the train a long while ago from now, but he's been around, playing the PTQs and RPTQs and MCQs, and he goes to GPs. I know he's very active in politics, actually.
Really?
He's a member of the Pirate Party in the Czech Republic. He's actually, I think he's part of the. He was voted in as part of the local council. So
That's
he's
nice.
active in Ostrava, and which is the third largest city in the Czech Republic. And I really enjoy his Facebook updates because he's also a university professor. So he's very active in education. He teaches maths.
So quite a smart person.
He's very smart, yeah, and also he has a good all around worldview. And I think he enjoys Magic just because like it allows him to travel, meet interesting people, and yeah, have fun while doing that. Of course.
Yeah, as it was the slogan back in the days: "Play the game,
Yeah,
see the world."
Yeah, it's not the slogan anymore. There's the Sarkin though, so that's gonna create I assume what's gonna be a 4/4 dragon.
Which will not be big enough to take down the Crazes, unfortunately. Okay, people trying to figure out.
How does this work again? All right. So minus, it also turns on the Mox again, so his shocks become somewhat live. Remember, the Sarkin also has a static where it shoots stuff. So actually, like, what could happen if the dragon survives? If 2 lands attack, he could ping them with the Sarkin and then shock each of them. But he's going for shock on the Nissa.
Yeah, not gonna want to see the ultimates.
Yeah.
Because the craze is after that.
Plus, especially it makes further Nissas also like really problematic.
Another land though, so still only
So
the Raska, which of course
it doesn't work like this though. I mean, oh yeah, it does. Even if you tap a forest for black, it gives you green, right? So it does work. This Raska kills off the dragon, and now we're going to see more lands. Yeah, and yeah, we've seen enough. I mean, Arnost was
not
like
gonna take out only
the moment he couldn't answer the Nissa, I think is the moment basically lost the game. As long as usually had any sort of cards to play, and he did. So 1-0 to Yiri, and let's look at those deck lists. So let's see what they're working with here.
Sideboard.
Go on, you start first.
I have 2 Massacre Girls. They will probably not coming. Assassin's Trophy.
Sure.
4 Duress. 1 Final of Glory is gonna stay in the sideboard as well, probably.
Finale of Glory.
Finale of Glory.
Which one's that?
I think it's the black one, right?
No, that's I think it's called differently. Finale of Eternity or something like that. I think Glory is the white one, no? I'll have it. I'll look it up.
We'll check that. With 2 Unmourned Egos, 2 Cry of the Canariums, they gonna stay in the sideboard as well. I think 1 Elder Spell and 1 Command the Dread Horde.
Yeah, it is actually. It is a white one.
It is actually the white one.
So it actually might be a mistake. He doesn't have any white sources.
It doesn't have any white sources, yeah.
It might be the black one, and he mistyped.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, I think it's
I think
supposed to be the black one.
Finale of
Eternity. It's supposed to be, yeah. So I think probably the Elder Spell is gonna come in, of course.
Maybe the Dread Horde, Command the Dread Horde.
Assassin's Trophy, of course, also an option against
maybe
the Planeswalkers.
Some Duresses as well. I think some of the cards are not the best. Like the Wild Growth Walkers are pretty average in this sort of matchup. Maybe even the Thorn Lieutenants.
Yeah, they're of course against Mono Red.
Yeah,
and
Hostage Take
Hostage as well. We've seen him take out top the token.
You know, it also depends like what his plan is. Like because if he wants to keep Llanowar Elves, for example, if he wants to keep accelerating, and there's a question if he wants to be doing that at all. And also depends on how many of these Duresses he wants to bring in, if at all.
Yeah, so as always, you don't want to overload on reactive stuff and then not being able to pressure your opponent. Yeah,
so Arnost sideboard is interesting as well. He has some Lava Coils, which can be relevant as a 1/1 removal spell. Doesn't hit those Planeswalkers though. But he has Lyra's, another Clarion. He has Dovin's Veto, Legion Warbows, and Excellence Binding. I would assume that he's going to bring in the Veto, just because it's pretty good against the Planeswalkers. And maybe even the Warboss if he wants to be the aggressor. But in that he would have to figure out how he wants to board, because I didn't assume that he would want to bring out the Clarions, which are on the other hand pretty good against like Llanowar Elves style sort of deck.
Yeah, it's not. What do you think about the Lyras?
Not a fan. I think they
get outclassed, right?
Yeah, they get outclassed. Plus, he saw quite a bit of removal, Hostage Taker.
Yeah,
as well as the
exactly. Saw the Hostage Taker. Yeah.
So, and he will probably assume that he has some other removal as well. It just 5 mana is just too much. Especially like if you want to bring in the Veto, which I assume so. You probably don't want to tap out for Lyra, because then
that would be awkward.
Yeah, you can be at risk of just being blown out by a command or just like double Planeswalker or whatever. So we'll see.
It will be interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know Jiri on the left. I've spent a lot of time with Arnost traveling the world, playing the game, seeing the world in the past. So
top 8ing the PTs.
He actually, he has one PT from that, and he has an unofficial top 8 as well.
Okay.
Because he played with Robert Jurkovic at the Two-Headed Giant Pro Tour back in the day, and they finished actually in the top 8, but only top 4 made
yeah.
the cut.
It was there was only one PT with Two-Headed Giant, right? It was the Sliver Boys won it back then.
Exactly, and they were doing really well throughout the tournament, but then lost one of the final rounds to not make it in. But still, a great result for them at the day, and it would allowed Arnost to stay on the train for a while longer, and Robert as well. Who had even had some other results. Robert doesn't play anymore. He was a good friend of mine while we were playing. We're not in touch as much because
I used to play him in the PTQ scene a while back.
Yeah, he was always around, but now he's biking. You can now meet him on some bike trails in Austria.
Really?
He's
Awesome.
a very avid biker. Yeah, he lost a lot of weight. He's very slim, and he's just biking with friends and probably his girlfriend as well. So he's quite busy in that regard. So he doesn't really play Magic, but of course, like, he played it for such a long time. He even owned a shop in Bratislava back in the day. That it's part of his life even now. All right, let's look at the hand. There's the Dovin's Veto I mentioned in hand for Arnost, who starts with an untapped Stevens, and he has an opt.
Of course, the opt in hand.
He also has an Narset, so that's going to be a good start for him.
I think Cheesy found Wild Growth Walker and an Assassin's Trophy in hand. Opt end of turn, puts the card on the bottom, so gets replaced by another opt.
Not the great. He's still digging for white mana. I mean, he has an interplanar beacon, but doesn't have white for the veto. And
he did find Teferi though, right?
Yes,
the small one.
He'll be able to play that next turn if he wants to. Well, we'll see what Jiri is going to play here. I assume a 2-mana creature, Branch Walker. It's fine. Finds a duress. Doesn't want it. Ooh,
okay,
interesting.
that's interesting.
Maybe doesn't have lands, so that's also possible. It might make it awkward for Arnost to play the Teferi and bounce the Branch Walker if your opponent just bin a duress, which is probably a pretty decent card.
One of the best cards, right? Yeah. Especially this early because.
Yeah, again, bottoms with opt. Still digging. Finds an excellent binding. That's a good answer to Nissa. All right.
So what's it gonna be?
What is it going to be?
Narset or Teferi.
Exactly. I would actually like having Teferi here and bouncing, even though it might seem his opponent might not have lands.
Yeah, the other option is, like, if you go for Narset, it's gonna die into the backswing. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. It maybe if the Branch Walker wasn't that big.
Yeah, if it didn't explore. If it was the Christian Schwarz edition and he just found a land.
True. For those of you who haven't been here since the start, we had the Christian Schwarz in the previous round who explored like 8 times and just kept hitting land every single time. All his explore creatures were 2/1s. All right, there's the Teferi.
He's gonna go for the Teferi.
Bounce or not? Yeah, bounce it. I mean, he's digging for the white mana. Finds a Mobilize District. Okay. It's a blocker.
Creature lands are very relevant with the planeswalkers around.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things I liked about the blue-white version of Super Friends, where you could play 4 Mobilized District and it was fine, and it was actually a very good way of pressuring planeswalkers in these mirror matches, and in general, like trying to finish off the game somewhat fast. Look at that, Jade Light Ranger finds an Assassin's Trophy again, and no.
As well.
And
there it is. The land gets rewarded.
Setting up his graveyard with now Jade Light Ranger on the board. Let's see if Arnost manages to find something here.
There's the white source.
White source, indeed.
And it is an untapped one, right? Yeah, he does have.
It's a Clifftop Retreat, so he can play the Excellence Binding on the Jade Light if he wants to protect his Teferi, which I'm not sure is that great. But he doesn't really have many other plays if he doesn't go for that line. He could keep a mana for veto and opt, but I assume that he's just going to keep playing some creatures, so the veto is probably not going to be at its best. And
the problem again being Narset getting played, it's just going to yield him 1 activation.
True. So we'll see.
So a lot of decisions already here in the early game, which is quite interesting.
That's what makes this format so interesting. All right, so is it going to be the Cliffs of Retreat? It should be. Arnost is,
Maybe the man
deliberate.
land.
Ooh, okay. No, goes for the soft frost. So doesn't have an intention of playing a white spell now. He might want to go for Narset here.
Okay, he does go for the Narset.
So now it kind of makes a little bit more sense in with the fact that now he usually has to decide what he wants to attack. There's now 2 planeswalkers on the battlefield.
Finds the lava coil. Of course, he would have had the option to find a shock if these are still in his deck.
Yes, that's also another reason why he might have gone for this this line of play. And now he still has the up mana ready to go, and he knows that he'll be able to kill the any creature once he untaps again. That's why I think usually he's going to keep pressuring the board with the branch walker.
Yeah, takes out the Narset, of course. You mentioned it early when he was shuffling for game 1. Bit nervous. You can see his feet bouncing up and down.
Yeah,
he's in the zone thinking about his next place. Finds a Tameo.
Yeah, with the branch walker now his creatures are quite formidable. Like the 2/4 Wildgrove Walker and some of the other guys. It's very good here. Clarion would go a long way for Arnost, but he has to find it first. So
he does have the lava coil to take out the Wildgrove Walker. And another excellent spine. It's kind of awkward here.
Yeah.
I mean, he does have the white source in hand, but 4 mana removal. The Clarion. There's the Clarion.
Clarion. So he can play everything now. If he plays the Clifftop Retreat, he can actually. Yeah, he can even plus. He can play the Clarion and the instant speed if he wants to, and he can play the Lava Coil instant speed as well. So.
Not giving away any information.
Yeah, but he's not going to be able to play the Clarion and keep up Dovin's Veto because he has 2 interplanar beacons, of course, plus the Clarion necessitates white mana. So we'll see. Yeah,
he does pass the turn.
Yeah, so he might play those 2 sorceries. He'll see if Yiji plays something pre-combat.
He has the information that Tameo is on top, so maybe if he wants to get rid of that, he does keep up the veto. Although, as we know, also 2 excellent binding in his hand.
Right, so it
a
looks
lot of
like
decisions.
the explorers are attacking Teferi and Wildgrove Walker's attacking face. I'm not sure. It did seem that way from the way he motioned, but it's not 100% clear.
This way. Of course, he does know about the lava coil. He does not know about the Clarion.
Yeah, I think Arnost will gladly take 2 from the Wildgrove Walker, possible, but no, even goes for the lava coil there. He's probably thinking that okay, I can't do much about the Tameo. I'll just let it resolve.
Just preserve the life total here.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see the Tameo now, right?
Yeah, but if Arnost has a plan. Then if Tameo gets played, Arnost will play the Excellence Binding, and he still has the Teferi in play. So
I'm just checking the list. He is running 1 basic land, so he will be able to grab a basic if his Excellence Binding. This
trophied. Yeah, that's one of the problems with Excellence Binding in this matchup. I think these sort of deck can board up to 4 Assassin's Trophy. And look at that!
Wow, actually, it's
It's a post-combat Nissa who shakes the world, and still the pressure keeps growing. Another Wildgrove Walker after having used that Nissa, plus untapping Forest and getting the extra mana. There's another white source for Arnost, so that's quite good. I think he might just cash into the Teferi here, bounce the land, and then Excellence Binding the Nissa and leave
and veto.
Yeah,
so the Joseph was actually huge.
So it actually goes for the Wildgrove Walker first. Oh, because I think it's. I'm not actually sure of the wording of.
It could be that it's creature or non-land permanent.
It's not, because you can't blind on Planeswalker, so I would assume it does specify creature, but it's still fine. So here's the Excellence Binding, and he's gonna also play the untapped Hallowed Fountain past the turn. It's actually going to be in decent shape. Especially next turn, he can also play the Mobilized District as a card that can actually bounce off of something. And I'm very curious to see if Arnost actually has his 4th opt in his hand. If he actually goes for it end of turn, if he usually has 2 mana untapped.
Could respond with
exactly if they're going to play this game or not. This little game of cat and mouse. All right.
He's going to play Wildgrove Walker.
I think that's resolved. And another Jeskai Range. Wow. Again,
Dovin's Veto accomplishing nothing here.
Yeah. Ooh.
2 lands.
Yeah, 2 lands, nice. At least, I think Arnost will not mind that it was just two
Just
lands.
two lands, yeah, exactly.
It's less pressure.
I think in this case, the lands are his friends,
Mhm.
although he's getting beaten by a 3/3 land, so
Yeah.
you see
Alright,
there's the
so-
opt.
Yeah, no, but Yiri's tapped out, so he's leaving the Assassin's Trophy for later.
He does have some answers, but he also needs something to get ahead on board, or like get on the board at all. At this point, with Dovin's Veto and another removal spell, he's
Mhm.
still getting pressured by these other creatures.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he can come up with something.
Yeah, it's a difficult spot. I mean, he's been playing from behind. It seems like both games, like
Yeah,
from the get-go. It's just hasn't been able to get on the front foot in any way. And Aoinho in chat is asked how many players are attending. So yeah, you get to reply it's sold out. Actually, there was 226 tickets.
206 tickets exactly.
So there's a lot of players in the room. It's very sweaty.
Yeah.
Especially in
It
this
is.
nice weather.
He found a Sarkhan end of turn with
Nice.
the opt, and still has the veto up to protect it.
Against something. So we'll see what Yiji has in his hand. Look at his so many cards still. So I can really easily imagine Yiji being able to either double spell or maybe something like duress and
He
spell.
did found the duress off of
Yeah.
the top. This is
I'm a prophet. I know. So this is very difficult for Arnold. He can expand the Dovin's Veto to protect his excellence binding, but once he does, I think
I think it's his only option, right? Because if he's not casting the Dovin's Veto at this point, the duress will just take it.
Yeah. And now decision on Yiji's side. Does he want to Assassin's Trophy the dragon and attack Sarkhan? He could also bring back his Nissa if he wanted to.
We'll see. There are a lot of small decisions in this game to be made,
Mhm.
but they can change the outcome quite a bit. So it will be interesting to see if he goes for the aggressive line and just takes out the dragon, and of course kills the Sarkhan, or if he wants his Nissa back.
Mm-hmm.
Then of course, as we know, there's another excellence binding waiting. I can also see Hydrate Crisis, which could swing the favor for Nissa, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So many options. I mean, the Sultai deck just has... I like the fact that it's not the traditional Sultai deck that we've seen in the previous standard format, but it's evolved to have more planeswalkers, to be a bit more resilient. It's not those Carnage Tyrants that you're building up towards with your land worlds and everything, but you have Nissa and Tamiyo and of course still Krasis still hanging around.
It's no longer just like play a creature, play removal on your creature, attack.
Yeah, no Chupacabras left to be seen. I mean, that card has really fallen out of favor. There's the Assassin's Trophy now. Arnost can at least go find an island.
Does grab his Nissa.
There it is.
Will be interesting to see. Did he play a land already this turn?
I think so. I think he did. Yes. That's 2 green.
I think he might be able to play Tamiyo, return the Assassin's Trophy, and kill the dragon.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So he's doing the math. All right. So he got 2 mana out of the Overgrown Tomb, and then turned it into a creature with Nissa. He's gonna add a 3rd.
Okay. And yeah, he's going for the Tamiyo. Still thinking about it.
Yeah. What does he want to do with it? The question is probably maybe he wants to find the other Assassin's Trophy. Okay.
So he didn't play a land.
No, I think Arnold's just watching keenly. It might work out fine. I actually haven't been able to follow along those lands.
Yeah, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Keeping track of.
He's just trying to make sure that he had. I mean, Arnold has 7 lands plus the island that he found from Assassin's Trophy.
Exactly.
And there's 7 lands on the side of Yiri, so it makes sense. I think both players have been playing lands each turn, so I don't suspect Yiri's cheating, as some like to say. All right. Big attacks. I think Sarkhan's gonna hit the dust.
Yeah,
and there's still a 6 damage on Arnost, and I think he's gonna like untap and probably hit the concede. But that was a huge turn. For,
yeah, that was a
for
huge
Yiri
turn.
here.
Getting back the Nissa, getting rid of the enemy's planeswalker and creature while developing your board is just...
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's too much to come back for.
Yeah, that's why Nissa's so good against these sorts of decks.
So big draw step.
Narset can dig.
It's a good card, but
Yeah, I can find a Clarion, but what does that actually do? Nothing.
I think he's too far behind to come back at this point. It's gonna get him some life with the beacons, but it's not gonna be enough. But we'll find out.
Yeah, some life gain, but I mean, it needs to be something really good here. Teferi, another now says flop is a Sarkhan. I mean, I like Sarkhan, but at this point, you can see Arnost with his hand in his head. It's like, what am I doing?
I have 4 spells, but it's not gonna do it.
I think he's just looking as like, I don't think I can do anything here. Yeah. I mean, he probably can try to do his best to survive. He can probably try to go for the Sarkhan, just to get the 4/4 on board.
That can take out 1 attacker. And we know that there's a Crisis waiting, right? So
yep, that's the last card in Yoshi's hand.
perfect last card.
Yeah, he can definitely reload as much as he wants to. Yeah, there's the Sarkhan.
Yeah, as you anticipated.
Not a surprise. It was the best option out of the ones he had.
He's gonna gain another life. Go up to 22 probably. Oh no, he's actually going for the binding.
On the Nissa.
On the Nissa.
So that, okay. He's probably trying to gain some time. Next turn he probably can try to go for Sarkhan. And maybe he's trying to give himself a chance to draw a Clarion to clear the board.
It's also his best option against the possible, what we know,
Crisis.
is in his hand, Crisis.
Yeah, that's true. But still, there's still going to be Crisis for 5 at least. It looks like, if he wants to. Which is going to be probably pretty good on this board.
Yeah, it's big enough to survive the Clarion, so
yep.
Wouldn't be surprised to see that.
There's also the Tamiyo activation.
Tamiyo activation is still going on, yeah. I think he's trying to figure out what to name. Torres would be sweet, I think, because
he already saw 2 though, so I don't think he's going to want to name that. I assume maybe he's going to go for like Assassin's Trophy, or I think he only saw 1 of them, though he doesn't really need it. But it's probably the most impactful card.
Yeah, he still has 3 in his deck, right?
Did he name it? He didn't.
No, he didn't.
Buddy, you gotta learn. Maybe he could have gone for something like Vraska or maybe another Nissa, something similar.
Yeah, I think the Assassin's Trophy, as you call it, would have been the best shot because, 3 left in the deck. Combat phase.
So that attacks Narset and those go face, so take 8.
Down to 13.
Yep.
Down goes the Planeswalker. And
the Crisis for 5 as mentioned. And they haven't updated their life totals properly on our phone there on the top. Oh, there we go. So yeah. Thank you, Arnost. You're the best.
13 exactly, and 29. And with only 1 card in hand.
Yeah,
this is all but over.
Yeah, what he needs, I'm not even sure what he needs. It's something like, he needs Clarion.
The Clarion.
No, not even Clarion. Like a Wrath, Lightning Strike and Sarkhan. Okay, I don't think that's enough. I mean, he can kill the Tamiyo. That's nice, I guess.
Yeah, but he's still facing like what's 8, 10, 16 damage. Produces 1 4/4 that could take out 1 creature maybe.
And then?
Yeah, and then what? And then not have your opponent cast another spell for 10 turns to come back maybe.
Yeah, at least Arnold is actually like giving it his all, like really trying to figure out if the game is lost or not. Remember, he also has the mobilized district that we haven't talked much. I think he might be able to play Sarkhan and even activate it. Yeah, he does have exactly enough for that.
Then he's missing out on the option to Lightning Strike.
Yes,
though,
exactly.
Right?
Yes, correct. You can either do one or the other. And Sarkhan's great, but you kind of need to be on the front foot if you want to really use it to its maximum.
Yeah, if you're if the second the ability to turn your planeswalkers into dragons, well, if you only have one planeswalker, it's not that great.
All right, so no more Tamio. That's dead thanks to lightning strike. But Arnost has other problems now. Let's see if there's any removal spell.
Oh, there's a Nod on his.
Yeah, that's gross.
Such a great card.
Yeah, and this Branch Walker as well. He also has an untapped line if he wants it. That he needs it. This Sultai deck, I mean, and also the 4-color Dreadhorde deck is just can be so obnoxious. Okay, finds a watery grave, explores.
Okay, I was just confused, but the graveyard just changed position. The Tamia is no longer on the battlefield.
Yes, it's quite confusing.
It's the top card of his graveyard.
Yeah, don't get confused. Oh, Danny knows. Thank you. He likes our commentary. Thank you. Matthias is doing a great job.
Oh, thanks.
I'm just helping out.
It's just because Matej is here.
No, I'm just helping out. You know. Your local washed up pro, way past it. Hasn't played Magic in 2 months. No, I'm kidding. I actually played, not yesterday, but 2 days ago I played a little bit. And I do actually enjoy War of the Spark Limited quite a bit, and even Constructed. I played a bunch with the Blue-White Super Friends deck 2 weeks ago, but since then the meta has changed so much.
It's changing so fast.
The deck's not great anymore. It was quite good for a while. I could actually... I get a good list from Emanuel Gershenson, the local Austrian pro, and he even in combination of Blue White and Jeskai Superfriends managed to go 38-2 to hit like mythic from nothing.
Wow!
But it's a huge streak.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but he's a very good player. I mean,
of course.
He already won a Magic Mythic Championship qualifier a month ago at in London at during the Magic Fest.
Yeah, I'm of course friends with him. I'm following on Twitter, and every time he's like, PT didn't go so well, fell off the train. Yeah. Very next event is like, qualified again. So,
yeah, he's quite good, but also quite unlucky sometimes. Yeah. All right. So big attacks there. Sarkhan hits the dust. The dragon stays on the field, but it looks like he's down to 6 here. I'm surprised by this trend. I think Jiri is just thinking he has the game won, so I think he should have played the Nissa. And tried to go for a big Nissa play still, because that would be really the nail in the coffin for Arnost. He wouldn't be able to deal with the stream of further creatures.
I'm not really sure what he's afraid of at this point.
Yeah.
Mass manipulation or something like that.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Okay, sure. But I don't think this deck would want to play it, because there's so many non-blue sources as well. There's a big swing with everything.
In they come.
No more Sarkhan passive abilities, so Branch Walker and Jade Light Ranger attack.
And of course there's the handshake.
Yeah, Jiri Obraz takes it now 3-0 in this MCQ, it is. And, as I said at the start, he was like, oh, I'm playing against Arnost, oh no, it's so rough. And now
2-0.
Clean 2-0.
Yeah, he's going to be relieved. Of course, he still has some more rounds to play.
Yeah, he was never in any sort of trouble. I felt like both his wins were quite comfortable, even if they took quite a long time. It felt like he was very much in control, knew what he was supposed to do, and just took it home. So 3-0 for one of the Czech players, 2-1 for the others. But I'm sure Arnost can bounce back against some other archetypes maybe. But
hopefully. I love the archetype. I love seeing Narset. It's one of my favorite cards of the new set. So
agreed. Yeah, but it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough because this matchup he didn't seem particularly favored, and I will be worried against how his matchup is against the other Dreadhorde decks as well.
Yeah. We were looking at the sideboard, and as you mentioned, I don't think there are a lot of great impact cards for him to bring in this matchup. He of course bought it in the Dovin's Veto. Yeah. But we'll see how the tournament is going for him. Yeah. Of course, we do have like 5 more rounds to go.
A lot more rounds to go, yeah. Lots of Magic left to go. And Danny knows, are there any updated standings by now? I don't think we have standings just yet, but I'm sure at some point today we will show some standings. Oh, okay. So they're not on the stream, but you can actually go to Spielraum.
Yeah, exactly. There's down here. You can see it, pairings and standings.
So just go there.
Go there. You can check out pairings and standings.
Perfect, yeah.
See how your friends are.
I see the webpage right now from here, and it's there. We don't have round 3 standings, but that's because the round is still ongoing. And that is also why we're going to go on a break until this round finishes. And we're going to head out, and we're just going to have a short break, and we're going to come back for round 4. I'm going to take a longer break. Going to swap it out a little bit, but then
you're going to see the Lord of the Cards.
Yeah,
the man behind the camera, on camera.
Exactly. You're going to see Patrick and Matthias, and then we're going to do another switcher, and I'm going to be back for the following round. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with round 4 here, the MCQ in Vienna.
See you soon.